we've done this to pretty much every guest we've had, because the Sixers don't have any guards. You're 47. You look like you're still in good shape. Can you
come on?
Could you play for the Sixers? Could you please start at guard for the Sixers? What's your game like these days?
My mouth is better than my game. It's funny story. So, like I said, I just got on social media, and a couple months ago, I didn't even know how to send a DM, and my son showed me how to do it. It's sad, right? My youngest son, and he just turned 11. But on my Instagram, one day I was in practice, and so we got to the bubble, and we had I don't want to say short staff, but we were only allowed to bring, if I'm not mistaken, 37 members of our normal travel party, right? And that was including the players. So long story short, we all, from Brad, myself, our entire staff had to do a little bit more because we were short staffed. So I was put into a defensive drill with the guys, and I actually only had to play offense that day. And so maybe like 10 possessions, I was able to play a pick and roll, and Jaylen Brown had to guard me, Kemba Walker had to guard me, Tremont Waters had to guard me, Jason Tatum had to guard me, and I got 10 possessions in the pick and roll where I'm the ball handler, and I think all of the possessions Enes Kanter was in the pick and roll coverage. So I'm out there, I'm bouncing, and I didn't even pop any or leave that day, but about 6 of the possessions, like, I looked pretty good. So I took the clips from the practice film off. I recorded it on my phone, and I posted it on my Instagram, because my youngest son and I got into an argument about the defense that I played on Allen Iverson in 1997. So I was like, yeah, I still got it.
Well, a lot of our listeners are too young to have seen you play. Like, I just want to give a memory, because it's very good to see you, by the way. Like, I haven't seen you in so long.
I look like I'm the only one that's Asian, but that's a different story.
No, come on.
Yeah, it's a different story.
Smoke looks very old for context.
I was saying, don't tell him that.
Yeah. So people didn't get to see you play. So this is a true story, and I'm glad there was a line about it in the book. So I remember people talking about, like, I'm maybe in my mid-20s, and somebody says something about a Shammgod. Oh, yeah, Shammgod, whatever. And I looked at the move, and I was like, well, that's Jerome's move. Like, that's what Jerome did. And I'll never forget, I think you did it to Kevin Johnson once, because Smoke had it on, because I went to find it on YouTube yesterday.
You're pretty sharp, Spike. Yeah, you're pretty sharp.
I remember because Smoke had it on had that game on VHS. And I remember specifically being at Dwayne Vargas's house, and they would rewind it and play you getting Kevin Johnson, and all react as if it had just happened every time. Yeah. So you were really, really good. And so you mentioned in the book, like, just, you were really fucking good, man. And you mentioned in the book that you had other offers, not just Penn. You had D1 schools that would give you a full ride, like people, historical basketball schools, Do you look back at that and think, hey, if I had gone to one of those schools, I know you're happy that you went to Penn, but do you think if you went to one of those schools, your basketball career maybe ends up in a different way than it ended up?
No, I never really thought about it that way, because, I used to always say, anytime, like, we was at home or on the block, I used to say, like, I played professionally for 14 years. Like, I lived in 6 different countries. Like, I never thought that that all of these things would happen. And the one good thing about Philly was, and the Big Five, was that even though I went to Penn, I still felt like I had to compete against Villanova and Temple and St. Joe's and LaSalle, every year. And especially in the summer times. So when all the guys were, we had the Sunny Hill League, the Sunny Hill College League. So I never really felt like that I missed out on a basketball experience. And it's probably because Philadelphia was so unique with so many schools and so many guys coming back in the summertime. And I think those, workouts at Gusting Lake with John Harnett and Tennis Young, and, I think all of those things actually helped me to get better on top of the coaching staff we had at Penn. And that's why I said in the book, Fran O'Hanlon was the one who actually showed me the move. And, he's the head coach at Lafayette now. But even I was in Africa in 2018, and my youngest son, who I keep referencing, we were there with Basketball Without Borders and NBA Cares, and guy Shammgod was there. And so my son walks up to him and says, and I think he's 8 at the time, was you the first one to do the Shammgod, or was my dad? Yeah.
And what did he say?
He didn't even answer him. He just kind of walked away from him. Yeah. So.
Yeah, when you get it named after you, I think you kind of just have to take credit for it forever.
Yeah, it's cool.
Do you have a mental Rolodex of guy like legend? So Kevin Johnson is actually a guy who I feel like would be a 2020 guard. Do you have like a mental Rolodex of like famous guys that you got?
Famous guys that I got,
like famous guys that were guarding you that you got.
It's probably the other way around. Famous guys that I was guarding that got me.
Oh yeah.
Again, I keep going back to this. So the clip on my Instagram that was followed by the 6 clips from practice was the Pacers versus the Sixers, Iverson's rookie year. And so I'm pleading with my son, Roman, you got to play both ends of the floor. Like, you got to be a good defender as well. And he's like, Dad, you always telling me this. Like, I bet you wasn't a good defender. So I find a clip of me guarding Iverson. And Iverson took about 9 dribbles, and he doesn't shake me, and then he goes to the hole and he throws up a scoop shot and miss. And I'm like, yeah, see, I told you I was a lockdown defender. I told you that. And then thanks to Google, well, unfortunately, he Googles the box score from the game, and he says, he had 37. He had 37. He was killing you. So, but wow. But yeah, I can't say. I mean, yeah, we had a clip. I showed him a clip of me with The Last Dance and me playing against the Bulls and Michael Jordan, and I lose him on a play, and I turn my head, and he respaces. They kick back out to him. I close out, and I close out short, and he hits the 3. And he's like, "Yeah, your hand wasn't up when you closed out." So it's probably more so the other way around.